We will provide award for different categories. Award for publication citation, award for publication excellence, award for publication excellence and citation, award for outstanding contribution in annual research conference, award for outstanding contribution in annual research conference,
for UM, Scopus is nothing. So how, if you can think about peer-reviewed paper, is also nothing. So we need ISI. So your promotion, your ranking, everything based on ISI papers, how much grant you get to produce all those papers, how many students you supervise, and so on. All these things are for the benefit of the universities and also for the researchers or the lecturers. So, I would like to actually focus on something which is less to some universities less important, which is community engagement. Community engagement means that whatever you have that is support by university funding, you give back to the society. This one, I think University Malaya is I don't know about other university, but we have only one non-profit center. Our centers also must actually generate some profit. What it means is that
locally and internationally recognized. As you know, I started publishing since my master's degree. So when I finished my master's in 2001, I managed to publish some good quality papers in my field, such as in energy conversion management and energy policy. These are the top journals in my field. So once I finished my master's, immediately the dean invited me, because I have a number of good quality publications. Dean immediately invited me to join the University of Malaya. This is how I got my job in University of Malaya, through these publications. As you also know, I'm the member of various recruiting committees, research students, research fellows, sometimes also examiners gave me a motivation. So I was with a good team. You know, Professor Marzuki, he got the Mardeka Award, and this year also he got the highly cited award. He is the top researcher in Malaysia. This year, what I want to convey the message here, I got the citation award since 2014. This year, one of the group that we worked together, Professor Marzuki was my supervisor, Professor Indra, he was my colleague, Dr. Kalam, he was my colleague, and I was in that team. So we all four together this year got the highly cited award. Again, this is a team. If you work with a strong team, that they can train you, they can motivate you, at the end, you will be a successful researcher. Okay, with that, I end my motivational speech. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rahman, for your guidelines regarding research papers preparation and publication. Now, I would like to invite our conference chair, Professor Iqbal Ahmed, ex-director, Institute of Business Administration, University of Dhaka. Professor Iqbal Ahmed.
Good morning. Shubho Prabhat. Salamat Pagi. Ladies and gentlemen, as the conference chair, I welcome you here today on the occasions of the International Conference of Business, Humanity and Law. The three topics are very important here: humanity, business and law. I belong to business community as a professor of business administration at the University of Dhaka. I believe that your presence here today clearly demonstrates a joint effort toward the attainment of prosperity of humanity, which is the need of the hour and the increasingly important policy area. Now I ask myself, what's motivated you to come here today this morning? Today is the end of the 2017. You have something extra. You want to get some benefit from coming here. Already, Dr. Asma, Dr. Sadur Rahman, they spoke very highly. They have motivated us. And that is the purpose why we're here. And I would also like to congratulate you for your participations, contributions, and interest in the most important features of business management of the affluence of humanity with respect to capacity building and sustainable development. The I Proclaim conference will no doubt encompass the success of our experience. All the issues and the problems of the modern day management can be addressed through this platform. The conference is both an opportunity and a launching pad to grasp the visions of the development across in the multidisciplinary field. This gathering of myriad academic, industrial, and professional sectors of the world to spare, perceive, and develop and transform thoughts into something tangible in its concrete steps of human prosperity. I am also optimistic that we will be hosting such conference in the future, as well as I hope that the conference will also contribute to the endeavors of ABC Malaysia to foster a research culture in Malaysia and the world. I beg a clean breast that the research culture is a part of the world has not been promoted as it should have been. The funds, expertise, and the wastage of the material resources have widened the gap between the rich north and the poor south. However, things are getting better day by day. The involvement, active participations, and the financial contributions to the private sector is a helping hand in changing the bleak scenario. The success of the event will open new vistas for the researchers, policymakers, and the practitioners. My cordial appreciations and thankfulness towards Dr. Atul Rahman, President of everybody. I believe so. Thank you, Halim, for your effort. In the end, I would like to convey my heartfelt gratitude to the International Islamic University Malaysia Authority to enable us to utilize the venue, as without their immense support, it would not have been possible to organize this conference in a pleasant framework in befitting manner with such a congenial environment. I would also like to signify my wholehearted admirations toward all the scientists, all the scientific community members for their diligent support, particularly ABC Malaysia management for their contributions, encouragements, and meticulous guidance and remarkable assistance in conducting the third I Proclaim Annual Research Conference on Business, Humanity, and Law. In the effective manner, my heartiest congratulations to all who have toiled for making their conference a big success. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah.
Malaysia. Thank you, Dr. Imri Hasanujaman, for on the stage. Now I'd like to invite young scientist Dr. Lau Wei J, University Technology Malaysia. Dr. Lau Wei J. Probably he absent. The next is young scientist Dr. Nong Phu Kiat, Multimedia University. Dr. Nong Phu Kiat. A big applause for them. A big applause for him. Thank you, Dr. Imri Hasanujaman. Please have your seat on the audience. Thank you so much. Now I would like to invite our conference chair, Professor Iqbal Ahmed, on the stage. Professor Iqbal. Thank you so much, Professor Iqbal. Now I would like to invite for lifetime achievement, and he has thousands of citations in the Google Scholar, in different publication sites, about more than 17,000. Professor Dr. Saidur Rahman, Sano University, Malaysia. Professor Dr. Saidur Rahman, have a big applause for him. Thank you, Dr. Saidur Rahman. Please wait at the stage, and Dr. Iqbal, Professor Iqbal, please wait at the stage. Please. We want to request all the award winners, Dr. Amy Shohel, Dr. Junaid, Dr. Muhammad Abdul Qadir, Dr. Hassan Jaman, Dr. Intan Salwani, Dr. Anton Doljenke, Dr. Mubarak, Dr. Lau, Dr. Nongpo on the stage to have a group photo session with them. Please be on the stage. Can you please come with the awards and the certificates? Thank you for your cooperation. Put a big applause for them. Thank you everyone, thank you so much, especially Dr. Saidur Rahman and Professor Iqbal, our conference chair. Please have your seat on the audience. Now I would like to start our award for publication excellence. Awards will be given by Professor Dr. Asma Ahmed Sharif. I would like to invite now Professor Dr. Asma. The first award is Distinguished Scientist Dr. Muhammad Abdul Qadir El Gelani Ismail, Curtin University, Malaysia. Dr. Muhammad Abdul Qadir. Thank you, Dr. Muhammad Abdul Qadir. Please wait near the stage for the photo session at the end. Now I would like to request the next distinguished scientist, Dr. Lu Trong Tuan, Swinburne University of Technology, Australia. Dr. Lu Trong Tuan. I think most probably absent. The next is Distinguished Scientist Dr. MD Mustafizur Rahman, Rajshahi University, Bangladesh. Put a big applause for him. Dr. MD Mustafizur Rahman. The next, please Dr. MD Mustafizur Rahman wait near the stage. The next is distinguished scientist Dr. MD Shohel Said, Multimedia University, Malaysia. Dr. MD Shohel Said. Next, distinguished scientist Dr. Junaid M. Sheikh, Curtin University, Malaysia. Dr. Junaid M. Sheikh. Thank you, Dr. Junaid. Please wait near the stage. The next is distinguished scientist Dr. Shunil Kumar Ghosh. I think he's absent today. Thank you, everyone. I would like to request all the awardees, Dr. Muhammad Abdul Kader, Dr. Mustafizur Rahman, and Dr. MD Shohel Said, Dr. Junaid M. Sheikh, on the stage to have a group photo session with Professor Dr. Asma Ahmad Sharif. Thank you, everyone. Please have your seats on the audience. Thank you, Professor Dr. Asma Ahmad Sharif, to give the awards. Dr. Mustafizur Rahman. Put a big applause for him. The first awardee is outstanding scientist Dr. Mubarak Muzawar, Curtin University, Malaysia. Dr. Mubarak Muzawar. Thank you, Dr. Mubarak Muzawar. Please wait near the stage for the photo session at the end. The next is outstanding scientist Dr. Prasanna Mohan Visawanthan, Curtin University, Malaysia. Put a big applause for him. Thank you, Dr. Prasanna Mohan. Please wait near the stage for the photo session at the end. The next is outstanding scientist Dr. Leong Wai Ye, the Institution of Engineers, Malaysia. Dr. Leong Wai Ye. Put a big applause for her. Thank you, Dr. Leong Wai Ye. The next is outstanding scientist Dr. Anton Dolzenko, Monash University. Dr. Anton. Probably is absent today. For the next outstanding scientist, Dr. Tan Chi Fai, University Technical, Malaysia, Melaka. Dr. Tan Chi Fai. I think absent today. The next is outstanding scientist Dr. MD Saidul Islam Nayang, Technology University, Singapore. Dr. Muhammad Saidul Islam. Put a big applause for him. Thank you, Dr. MD Saidul Islam. Please wait near the stage for the photo session at the end. The next is outstanding scientist Dr. Muhammad Shahril bin Ahmed Razimi, University Utara, Malaysia. Dr. Muhammad Shahril bin Ahmed. Put a big applause for him. Thank you, Dr. Muhammad Shahril bin Ahmed Razimi. The next is Outstanding Scientist Dr. Muhammad Ashad Kabir, Charles Sturt University, Australia. Dr. Muhammad Ashad Kabir. I think he's absent today. Now I would like to request all the awardees and Dr. Mustafizur Rahman to have a group photo session. Please come over the stage. Dr. Mustafizur Rahman is a life member of Asian Business Consortium. Thank you everyone, thank you. Please have your seat on the stage to give the awards. Dr. Shohel Said, put a big applause for him. Thank you, Dr. Shohel Said. I'd like to request young scientist MD Shafiullah Parvez, Osaka City University, Japan. MD Shafiullah Parvez, put a big applause for him. Thank you, MD Shafiullah Parvez. Please wait. Near the stage for group photo session at the end. Now I'd like to request young scientist Dr. Sabuj Kanti Majumdar, Sylhet Agricultural University, Bangladesh. Dr. Sabuj Kanti Majumdar. Thank you, Dr. Shohel Said. Please have your seat in the audience. The next is young scientist Dr. Rudra Roop Gupta, Multifarious Projects Group, India. I think he is absent also. Thank you, Dr. Shohel Said. Please have your seat in the audience. Thank you, Dr. Shohel Said. Now I would like to request Dr. Intan Salwani on the stage to give the awards. Dr. Intan Salwani. Put a big applause for her. The next award is young scientist MD Shamsuddoha, Brak University, Bangladesh. Muhammad Shamsuddoha. I think he's absent also. The next is young scientist Dr. Nong Po Kiat, Multimedia University, Malaysia. Put a big applause for him. The next is young scientist Dr. Abdul Halim bin Abdullah, University Technology, Malaysia. Dr. Abdul Halim bin Abdullah. Put a big applause for him. The next is young scientist Dr. Ganashri Selvachandran, UCSI University, Malaysia. Dr. Ganashri Selvachandran. I think he's absent as well. The next is young scientist, and the last for this session, Felicia Lim Fei Lin. Put a big applause for her. She's from Monash University, Malaysia. I'd like to request all the awardees to be on the stage for a group photo, and I'd like to request humbly Dr. Shohel Said on the stage for the group photo session. Thank you so much, Dr. Shahil Said and Dr. Intan Salwani and all the awardees. Now, for the lifetime achievement, I would like to request our conference chair, Professor Iqbal Ahmed, on the stage. Professor Iqbal Ahmed. Put a big pause for him. Now I would like to announce lifetime achievement to Professor Dr. Asma Ahmed Sharif, Sano University, Malaysia. University of Malaya. Professor Dr. Asma Ahmed Sharif. Put a big applause for her. Please, Dr. Asma and Professor Iqbal, be on the stage. I would like to invite all the awardees till now to be on the stage for a big photo session. I would like your cooperation. Volunteers, please help for the photo session. Volunteers, please cooperate. Thank you everyone, Professor Iqbal Ahmed and Professor Dr. Asma Ahmed Sharif. Thank you all the awardees. Thank you so much for your cooperation.
Dear participants, our next session is annual. Okay. We have rest of the 2 awards.
First, I would like to invite Professor Dr. Saidul Rahman to give the award on the stage. Professor Dr. Saidul Rahman. A big applause for him. For our award for outstanding contribution in ARCBHL 2017 to our Honorable Conference Chair, Professor Iqbal Ahmed. Put a big applause for him. Professor Iqbal Ahmed. Thank you, Professor Dr. Saidul Rahman and Professor Iqbal Ahmed. Please have your seat. Now our last award for outstanding contribution in ARCBHL. I would like to invite Professor Dr. The awardee is not present today. Sorry for the correction. Thank you everyone. We are concluding our award giving ceremony. Thank you all. Now we would like to start our next session.
We are declaring 10 minutes break for the preparation of the next session, annual research conference technical session. Business related paper will be presented here, and the session will be started at 11:15 a.m. 11:15 a.m. Till then, it's break. Thank you very much.
And finally, I will conclude with the discussion. Alright, organizational citizenship behavior is something that we want to have in our workplace. Alright, so it can be seen in terms of in-role and extra-role behavior. We can always ask ourselves, right, to what extent we perform with our behavior at the organizations. Right? Do we limit with our in-role or do we take it to the extra-role behavior? Right? Extra-role is to where it's engaged in an extra role to do something beyond what we need to do in order to ensure that we could deliver a good outcome in our work process. Right? So it's a reflection of a willingness to be resourceful beyond immediate role requirement. Like we can see this very clearly when we deal with any employee. For example, let's say we go to a service counter, alright? And we go to the service counter, a service employee can just ask, yeah, good morning, what can I do for you? Alright, and then we can tell them, oh, this is what I want. And then they try to fulfill our needs, but at a very, very minimum level. Alright, for example, hardly they smile at us, hardly they offer a place for us to sit, hardly they feel us to make comfortable, alright? But at the end, yes, they did what they want, they're supposed to do for us. We find what we want, but then the question is, are we satisfied? Are we happy? Do we feel that we have been warmly welcomed into this organization? Or is there anything that the employee can do more in order to ensure that as a customer we feel happy? Alright? So employee can go and take themselves to extra role behavior, like warmly welcome. It's not just welcome, it's a warm welcome.
Useful
right?
To any potential entrepreneur or any person who is willing to be an entrepreneur. Also, the study could be useful as guideline toward venture creation among the students at various levels, either managerial level or individual level. Also, the study or the paper could serve as a foundation for further research in this field. So this is the scope of the paper. The scope of the paper specifically
day by day innovating new techniques. So I think new technique, new innovation is still used in manufacturing industry. To prepare more flexible budget, so they will be able to deal with cost, price, and production increase or decrease. Budgetary control is needed, and it's too much important because while we are making a good budget, then obviously the manager, employer, and the administrative officer on top level, while making a good budget, the people are good to willingly do the work. So I think that's, yeah. And I have some conclusion. In today's world, cost and management play a very crucial role. By acknowledging, analyzing, and reporting cost information, a company cannot set only goals, but they are also achieve the goals successfully. So when we set the cost and management accounting system is appropriately, obviously we can achieve the goals. It is not mandatory. It's not mandatory, but it's useful, and it's when we realize that, obviously we achieve that. So that's all for today, and thank you to guys for listening to me with passion. Thank you everyone.
If you use that 19 questionnaire, okay, whether the 90 questionnaire is sufficient for you to draw a conclusion. Okay, because when you are conducting a research, I can see also presentations, okay, you can put contribution to the study, contribution to new knowledge. When you say contribution to new knowledge, you need to know what is the meaning of contribution to new knowledge. Okay, meaning that whether or not your study, you can generalize to the whole population. Okay, how are you going to generalize if the sample that you have selected does not represent the population. The sample is not adequate, for example, okay, or the sample is too much. Okay, why is it very important? Especially in quantitative study, okay, sampling is very important because the most recommended sample size is between 30 to 500. Okay, what will happen if your sample size is below than 30 and above 500? It will lead you to the type 2 error. Okay, type 2 error, for example, you accept the hypothesis, but in the real world, if you conduct the study properly according to a proper methodology, maybe you'll get the result is to reject, not to accept. Okay, so that is why I can see throughout the presentations, okay, maybe in terms of requirement for methodology, good methodology is quite at a very minimum level. Okay, and then regarding the issues discussed, for example, the first paper, okay, on OCB measurement. This is a good presentation and also a good topic. There might be something different that you can introduce for future research, such as differences between science and social science, because you're conducting that study based on academic stuff. Satisfaction is quite different, right? Okay, and also for future studies, you can also look at the difference between research university and non-research university, the difference between public university and private university. Okay, okay, the second presentation, okay, on entrepreneurial perception. I have a question here on a new venture creation. So, who is the presenter this now? Okay. So, do you mean here the new venture creation? Are these students? Okay, do they have a business or only a perception to have? What do you mean by new venture creation here?
Yeah, Assalamu alaikum once again. New venture creation simply means engaging in entrepreneurial activities.
Okay.
Yeah, so to be on your own, how to establish a new business startup among the students. Okay. Some students, they are willing to, or they are given priority to be with employment rather than self-employment. So that is why I conducted a study on this area, so that to assess whether the students are willingly ready to create new ventures or are not. I think, I don't know whether I answer your question, I respond to your question.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So for this study, this is also an interesting topic. And maybe for future research, I would suggest you to include some mediator or moderator variables. For example, maybe, of course, engaging in entrepreneurial activities, sometimes whether they are given some funding, you know, right? Okay, so that could be some suggestion from me for future research. And also, maybe because you are conducting a study based on international students, so is there any classification of international students according to countries?
Yeah, actually, in University Utara, Malaysia, we have about 1,710 international students.
Okay.
That cover the entire world from different continents. In Nigeria, about 313 students, international students, then followed by Indonesia. Indonesia has about 260 something students. So the whole population, I went to the URCs, that is academic affairs units. So I got the information. I have the total number of international students in University Utara, Malaysia. So based on that, I built my research to find out whether this target population are willing to establish their new venture or are not. So that are the things I mentioned before. I think I answered your question, Dr. Ib. Yes.
Okay. Also, for maybe for additional future research, you could also consider the countries. You know, for example, different countries, they have different cultural settings and so on, right? So it might change the results.
Exactly.
Okay, and then, okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Terima kasih.
For paper 3, variance evaluations. Okay, so looking at this topic, this is also an interesting topic. It's because according to the presenter, the benchmark, okay, is not yet available. So what we can do here is to have like developing or innovating a benchmark tool, okay, a tool to benchmark, and then also not only for Malaysia, maybe for international level, okay, and this can be a good translational research. Okay, and the last paper. Okay, the last paper is on cost and management accounting practice. Okay, so this is a topic that focuses on cost and management accounting. So I also did this study related to SME, for example. Of course, this is very important because if you look at Malaysia, the major failure of SME industries would be related to cost and management accounting practices. They don't have a proper cost and management accounting practices. Okay, my question here is, this is a study, case of Bangladesh. So whether the sample is just focused on Bangladesh companies or companies in Bangladesh, it could be a local and international companies.
Thank you, ma'am. Actually, I have completed 16 questionnaires in 150 samples. I visit 8 companies. Okay, 4 companies three companies international and 5 companies in our countries. But I see here the international 3 companies, they are used cost management accounting is properly, but in our country's company they do not use properly. That's why actually you know that exceptional is not example. In our countries maybe 10% or 20% company is international. So when 20% is they're developing but based, but 80% company is not based, they do not use properly. So that's not, it's a big effect. So that's why we don't get a big effect. So at least I say that 20% company is used properly, but the huge large amount of company 80% they are not used properly.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so congratulations to our presenters. Okay, I do hope that this session could contribute something for you to enhance.
Thank you very much, the panel of presenters. Well done on the paper presentations. Now, I would probably give comments and suggestions on your papers as well, which are rather similar to Dr. Intan's comments, especially on the variance paper, the paper on variance just now. I believe that you do need to research a little bit more on the sample sizes that you investigate within that context. Yeah. So I'm from the engineering background, but I've read many papers on social sciences, and this is actually my first time seeing a paper that utilizes 19 samples for questionnaire study and 8 interviewees. Yeah. So if you are using that model, I believe that you need to align that model with what someone else has used before in his or her previous research. All right. And if you are not using that model, I believe you need to increase your sample size. Okay, and for the content analysis, perhaps you need to be more clear on whether you used the software or whether you manually investigated the content, right? So whether you used Atlas TI or NVivo to analyze your data, I believe this needs to be deliberated appropriately for your thesis, especially if you're a PhD candidate. Okay. For the other paper on the entrepreneurial perception as a viable tool for creation of new venture, now you mentioned that you found a positive and significant influence in the relationship, and in the beginning of the slides I did recall seeing that you used descriptive analysis and factor analysis. Now, in my opinion, if you're stating that you have a positive and significant relationship using responses from questionnaires, you should involve inferential statistics like correlations, Pearson correlations, or ANOVA or regression analysis, right? So that has to be made clear in your research on whether you used these analysis or you used descriptive analysis to make the comparison. Maybe you compared the means, which is fine as well because it's a part. It is a way of comparison using ANOVA as well. All right, so this has to be established in your paper or in your thesis as well. Finally, for the first paper on the organizational citizen behavior influence on job performance, I believe this was very well presented. The significances that you presented, I believe, in the model were very clear. Only I believe that the beta values could have been explained in more detail, perhaps in the aspects of the predictive importance, right? The beta value represents predictive importance. So the organizational citizenship behavior for community also represents a very low predictive importance compared to the other coefficients. So you could actually elaborate more on that. And also consider elaborating the correlation of determination, R-squared, where 47% of the variance in job performance is moved or is explained by the organizational citizen behavior variables. So I believe this can be further explained and justified with previous research as well. And that's all for my comments. Thank you very much.
We have two panelists. They have given their valuable suggestions to the researcher. So first of all, I think, all papers are very good, but there are some limitations as well as some observations I made may help you or may not. First of all, the research methodology, what they said, but I think, nowadays we have what in research we find social science, they call it convenient sample size. So to me, it's all the time, I think what do we mean by convenient? That's big questions. Then there are a lot of methodology comes up. Then at the end it comes the confidence of level. Sometimes error in our sampling size. And I found during my research work that one of the most difficult part is developing the questionnaire. Sometimes researchers are not very careful about the questionnaire. At the end, when they go for analysis, they face the problem because some factors are missing there, some informations are missing there. So I hope the researcher will give much more, because we have not seen any questionnaire here. We have no discussions on questionnaires. So that is one of the observations. Now coming to the first presenter about does organizational citizenship behavior influence job performance of academic staff in higher educational institutions? So you see, I think there are some key points. First of all, we have to understand that what we understand by OCB, organizational citizenship behavior, she has explained it, but I believe it is much more useful for a reader like us what you understand by citizenship, what actually OCB is developed, how it's developed, how you define it, and how it related with your own research work. This is the first part, I believe. It needs more careful discussions. Then what is job performance? You have not defined job performance. You have not defined the factors on which you are going to define the individual jobs of particular organizations. Then I found something conflict between this because the academic staff in a higher educational institution. So you have not defined your higher educational institution. Some of the private organizations, public organizations, whether it's Malaysians and Bangladesh, because I'm from Bangladesh, I can have a different, organizational visions, missions, these are all different. And how these are related with the performance. Then you say that you said here the academic staff, it is not administrative staff. Is it including teachers? Academic staff is not clear to me. Is it academic staff include from the lecturer to the professors, or what level? And this should be, if you can define it I think the paper is a very powerful paper and it will be more useful for us. And congratulations for it. But if you take care of that, don't discredit what I said. But I said, you have to define certain things clearly, because to me, the OCB is new concept. And I found sometimes some jargon words is coming up in the management. What I call OCB is jargon words. But it is popular now. After a decade, maybe there may be another terminology comes out. But you have to, why are you using this OCB? What makes you come up? So that should be clear in your paper. So I think it's a good paper, and thank you very much for that. And then we have the second paper. Second paper is the entrepreneurial perceptions as a viable tools for creation's new venture. Now, first of all, I think your sample size, very interesting to me. All the international students. So what is the purpose of our educations? Why they are they coming for entrepreneurship? Can you train entrepreneurs? I don't know. So entrepreneurship development, can you do it? Answer yes and no. So what role your syllabus, what role the university is playing up in there? And is it the vision of the university to make all the international students to be an entrepreneur? I don't know. So I think there's some limitations of your sampling size, of your perceptions. You need to clear that very clearly. That this is my perceptions about the international students turning in Malaysia. And when you say international student, does it include only the African students or the Asians, or I don't know. So that sampling size you have to discuss clearly. And you have to be very careful, because the sampling size will influence your decisions. Sampling size will influence your analysis, because the students coming from Africa, students coming from other countries, their cultural background, demography, their visions, their ideology, all are different. This all depends on the entrepreneurship. There are a lot of factors in there. So, say for example, USSR, while it was, entrepreneurship level is very, very low. Because the system, political system is that they don't allow the developed entrepreneurship. But if you come to Bangladesh, you'll find a lot of entrepreneurs. We don't need to train them. That the culture, that the market compelled to become entrepreneur. So it should be very clear to everybody. So I believe that your paper is also very good, but it needs a lot of corrections, as I said it. So first of all, what is the vision or the objectives of the international student coming to your university? And I don't know whether all are the management students or engineers, doctors. You have to explain that a little bit in your paper. Third, this paper is very good. Search your acceptable margins of variance, vulnerable perception. I think my analyst what said, please author to take note of that and correct it like reading that. So that's a good paper. And lastly, the paper from Bangladesh, the scenario of cost and management accounting practice case of Bangladesh. I think it needs also a lot of changes there, because in general, it's not, I'm not convince what you said here. This is all general. What is the new ideas? What is the new thoughts you have brought up? Is not clear to me. And because your sampling size, because the role of the costing and management, and role of the government rules and regulations, role of the financial institutions, these things should be involved in the paper. Otherwise, this paper is just an article published in the journal, in the newspaper. So that's the observation about your paper. So you have to be very careful about it, because we are looking forward for a valuable article published in the quality journal, and that will give the credit to you. And I think we have covered a lot of things 10 minutes earlier, and if any of the audience want to pass any remarks or comments on that, I will allow, because time is available. Anyone to come forward? If not, then I conclude the session close here. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Honorable